It's still pretty hot, but now we're getting almost constant rain. I'm thankful for the rain, but it limits my ability to work outside. But not to worry. The rainy days turned out to be the perfect time to try out 2 new toys I got recently that will blend with the garden. A few days ago, I decided to stop by a thrift store because I hadn't been in a while. It was my lucky day because there on a shelf was this dehydrator, just waiting for me to come along. And look at the price I paid for it. I found the model on Amazon, and it was still pretty reasonable at the regular price, because some can run into the hundreds. It will definitely come in handy as I continue to harvest. Just to try it out, I used beans and cut summer squash to see how they would turn out, and I let it run overnight. This is what I got. It made the beans fairly crunchy, and the squash was sweet and crunchy. I put them both in containers with a little salt to add to dishes I plan to make in the future. Speaking of containers, I like saving this type of container because they're very handy for storage, and I use them for almost everything I want to store. Which brings me to my second new toy that I got at an estate sale for $20, an Instant Pot. I got the pot because I wanted to make bone meal and not waste hours watching a pot boil down the bones. I used those containers I mentioned to begin to save bones with the idea that I would make my own bone meal. If you know anything about bone meal, it provides calcium and phosphorus that helps root development and plant growth, but it can be pricey. So this was my attempt to cut out the middleman. I'll admit that I was scared to death of pressure cookers, so I watched a ton of videos to make certain I understood how mine worked. Once I got the hang of it, it was simple enough to put the bones in the pot, add water, and set it for 3 hours, and then watch the time tick down. Once I released the steam and opened the pot, I was ready to collect the bones and wash them off. I planned to add carrots and onions to the liquid in the pot for bone broth, which is very healthy for you. After removing any remaining meat from the bones by running cold water over them, They were smooth and so soft they almost crumbled in my hands. I then placed the clean bones in a bowl and began crushing them until they formed a paste. I was going to put the paste in my hot garage to air dry them, or could have used the dehydrator, but later decided to use the oven. I wanted to see results quickly. Once I removed the paste from the oven, I let it cool off. And then put my dried paste in the blender. And there was my bone meal, ready to be used in the garden, if it ever stops raining. And the middleman didn't collect a dime. See you next time.